We have another thought-provoking topic on this interview, captioned Girl Child Vulnerability in Developing Country, a Developing Country like Nigeria. Well, our guest is a leadership and gender rights promoter. She is Pastor Edith Nwabueze. Good morning, Pastor Edith, and thank you for joining us today on the show.
Good morning. Thank you.
You look very bright this morning. You just, brightened up our studio this morning, and we're glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
So we're talking girl-child vulnerability in a developing country like Nigeria. So are there vulnerabilities as per different countries, or it's girl-child vulnerability whether in Nigeria or in America? What are some peculiar vulnerabilities a girl child can go through living in a country like Nigeria? Let's just dive into the subject matter.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by trying to define what vulnerability is. It is a state of being susceptible to harm, damage, and exploitation. Mm-hmm. And for a girl child, that's in the context of what we are discussing, girl child vulnerability in a country like Nigeria. Mm-hmm. It simply means a girl child being exposed to harm, damage, and exploitation just because of her gender. Not that she committed any offense because she was born a girl or a female. So it is not peculiar to Nigeria, it's everywhere, but it is in Nigeria.
Okay, what are some of those vulnerabilities? Could you mention some?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay.
The vulnerability includes lack of education, poverty, gender inequality, gender-based violence, limited access to health care, and their potential. So these are some of the vulnerability that a girl child is exposed to simply because of her gender. Yes.
There's this recent news making the rounds, especially on social media, but it's verifiable, where a group of girls from the East, there was a video being made. I think the oldest there was 16, 14, 15, 16. And the story was that they were trafficked to Ghana. I'm sure you heard the story.
Yes, very well.
How prevalent is this? Is it just a one-off thing, or is it part of the vulnerabilities we are talking about? Just tell us all you know about that incident.
Okay. It's one of the vulnerability of girl child. For instance, like another vulnerability or challenge that girl child faces is early marriage. Do you understand? And child labor. And pointing out to what you have said, that one can be categorized as child labor. We are girls between 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, like you said. None of them is an adult. They have not reached 18 years. So these children are recruited, harbored in a place, then transported for prostitution.
So it's an organized arrangement.
Very well. And don't be surprised that some parents are involved, because one of the reasons of this girl child vulnerability is poverty.
Yes.
It's poverty. So parents want to get money. Of course, they prefer boy child to girl child. And so that's why they don't send girl child to school. Most people don't send them to school.
Is that still an issue now in this
it is.
21st century?
I'm telling you, it is. It is. So instead, they will engage them in labor and force them into early marriage. Do you understand? For instance, like I met a girl who told me that she was given to marry a man just because her father was owing the man. So giving out this girl is in exchange to pay for the debt the father was owing a man.
I'm sorry, Pastor, this story is real life and it happened recently.
Yes, it's real life. Not really recent, because the person should be in her 30s now. She should be in her 30s, and of course the marriage is not holding anymore because of domestic abuse. Of course, when you forcefully take out a child from school and push her into marriage, you have denied her the opportunity to learn, to grow. And of course, you know that marriage is something that people are trained. You have some training before you can go into marriage. But these children, they don't have any training. So by the time they get into marriage, they will not be doing what the man is expecting them to do. And it can equally lead to domestic violence. Do you understand?
So tell me about those girls, the trafficking of young girls.
Okay,
yes.
Actually,
because you're a gender rights promoter, so you must have, some of these stories must have passed through your table.
Yeah.
If you can just single out one and just tell us a success story of a girl child that was trafficked and recovered, rehabilitated, and things like that.
Okay. Concerning that incident that happened somewhere in the east, where those girls, they were recruited, kept there.
Do you know that 2 were siblings?
Yes, I also saw it. So kept there. I think probably they arrange guys that come to sleep with them. They get pregnant. They take care of them throughout the pregnant period. They give birth. And sometimes they give them money and discharge them. Sometimes they will still keep them and they repeat the cycle. Do you understand? Now, there have been, even though I cannot give you names, but there are children who has been rescued from these people who were taken back to school, and they are now doing well. There are little interventions going on, but we still want more intervention to actually eradicate what these children are going through, because they are girls.
Okay, so what platform do you use in your work as a gender rights promoter? Do you have an NGO, or do you work with one, or you work with government? What platform do you really work with?
Okay, I am just starting.
Okay.
You understand? But I work with WABMA, and there are some other NGOs, but I'm not directly involved. I am indirectly involved.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Like Nwabueze NGO.
Okay.
Foundation, Nwabueze Foundation.
Okay.
So we equally have Nigerian League of Women Voters, where people are trained and they are told to, bring reports, even in WABMA. Like a few days ago, if not 2 days ago, we were on Dream FM speaking on sexual and gender-based violence, where we were educating people to always report, to be open whenever they experience any form of violence. Do you understand? So I am just new in this thing now, fighting, speaking as a voice, speaking for girl child and speaking for females. Yes.
All right, so some of those vulnerabilities you mentioned, you did mention lack of education, because which from poverty, because some parents can't afford to send their girls to school, gender-based violence, early marriage, child labor. Are there some healthcare vulnerabilities that children go through? And can you just take us through?
A lot. For instance, when these children are forced into marriage, maybe in their 12, 13, 14, their bodies are not yet developed to carry pregnancies. And once they marry, they are exposed to early pregnancy, which affects their health, which brings a lot of health complications for them. Do you understand? So, and just like this cervical cancer stuff, one of the causes of cervical cancer is early marriage. When the body is not yet developed to carry pregnancy, so everything is just being forced. So at the long run, you find out that the girl child has a lot of health challenges as a result of early marriage. Because you cannot marry the girl and just be looking at the girl. They will have sex with them, impregnate them, and the girl will have to experience pregnancy and childbirth, which her body is not yet developed. You can imagine a girl of 13. Of course, you know that nowadays children, they develop quickly. Yes.
True.
10, 11, like my first daughter, she started seeing her menses at 11 years. So 10, 11, 12, 13, they're already seeing their menses.
Developed.
They are already developed.
All right. What are there cultural implications?
Yes, I am about to say that.
Can you just throw some light on that?
There are cultural and religious norms, harmful practices as a result of against female gender.
Did I hear you right? The cultural and religious.
Yes, cultural and religious norms. So there are harmful practices, and these harmful practices include, one of them is limited access to education, because they prefer boy child, they prefer sons, so they can prefer to send them to school, while the girl child is forced to either be engaged in labor or early marriage. So in some culture, you see them doing that. Again, there is what we call the female genital mutilation. That is removal or cut off part of the genital of a girl child. Some people still practice it, like circumcision. You know, they say that if you don't circumcise a girl child, when she grows, she will be promiscuous. So, and you see some people still doing what? Practicing it. So, and that is one of the reasons why we are rendering our voice, speaking to cultural leaders and religious leaders to help stop all these harmful practices. There are harmful practices that affect the health of the child, affect her economic empowerment, you know, and equally, you know, affect them mentally, physically, even emotionally.
Now, before we get to your advocacy and awareness framework, you know, I asked you, I said, repeat what you said. You said that there are cultural and religious, you know,
yes, norms
that are harmful. Now, there's this Bible quote: "You will deliver like the Hebrew women."
Yes, I know it.
How has that impacted maternal health? Tell us how that has made certain husbands or even women insist on normal birth delivery, normal, you know, vaginal delivery, rather than opting for, and how it has become a problem, because it's a dilemma, and most of the times the lady, either the lady dies, or the child dies because of prolonged labor and complications. How has that religious, you know, tiny little religious issue affected or increased the health vulnerabilities for women?
Well, that may be then, but today, people are being enlightened today on that issue. Yes, the Bible actually said that we will deliver like the Hebrew women.
Was the Bible talking to us or talking about those women then? Because
it was talking about them. Yes, it was talking about them. Remember, they were
at the brink of
yes, they were captives in Egypt at that time. Do you get? And there was a law given by Pharaoh that every male child born should be killed. So of course, God, even though it has been prophesied, God had already told Abraham in time past that his children will become
like the sons of the seashore.
Yes, and they will become bond men and women in a strange land. But God equally told him that they will stay like, I think, 300 years or 400 years. But he will still deliver them. And he will punish the people who have held them captive. So part of what, sometimes we need to interpret the Bible contextually.
Yes, my dear.
What is happening at that time. Do you understand? So God, in his infinite power, made it possible for those Hebrew women to deliver without complication. So, but today, I'm sorry for those who hold on to that. And we are seeing it in your very eye that you are already having complication. You should opt for CS just to, save your life and the life of the baby. I equally work in a hospital, and I've experienced these things. I've experienced women who they have begged and begged. They say no. The word of God said we must deliver like the Hebrew women, and at the end of the day, they died, and the babies died. Myself too, I'm equally I will not say a victim. I'm equally an example of such situation, because during my childbirth, I had a prolonged labor, and they were not able to find out the reason why the labor was prolonged or was prolonged. So, but at the end of the day, when they came and told me, I said, Madam, we found out that you are in labor, but your cervix is not dilating, because my cervix dilated to 5 cm and stopped. I stayed like 20 hours. 20 to 21 hours. He said, I said, whatever you can do, what I want to is to be alive and my baby to be alive.
Absolutely. Now we have 2 minutes to round off, but I need you to touch on something. What is your awareness strategy? Because most of the things we're talking about, if it's not cultural, it's religious, and these are deep-rooted belief systems that need a lot of advocacy and awareness to begin to disintegrate. So what is your awareness? I know coming here is part of it, but do you have a robust awareness framework? Let's hear about it.
The awareness for now is what we are doing here, which include educating the people to support girl-child education.
We talk about targeted awareness. You did mention something about going to traditional rulers. Tell me.
I'm still coming. Yeah, I'm still coming. Yeah. Okay. To support girl-child education, they can give what is called scholarships to help the girl child to go to school. Then coming to leaders, cultural leaders and religious leaders, engaging them and letting them know that these practices are not right and it should be changed, which already WABMA is doing. They have been inviting cultural leaders and religious leaders, training them on these things. Training them on these things. So that is the what we are doing, the intervention we are doing now. Then equally educating communities, telling them the dangers of not educating a girl child.
Sure. Thank you so much, Pastor Edith Nwabueze, for your insights on this subject matter. Leadership and gender rights promoter. Thank you so much for your time. All right, thank you for still staying with us. Don't forget, we are here to keep you inspired and informed. New Day continues right after this break.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.